Hi there. You've signed up as someone who is a real estate investor. Now, if you're really a real estate agent, I'd recommend you watch the video that I made for real estate agents. As a real estate investor, your criteria and what you're looking for is quite a bit different than what a realtor looks for. So, I'm going to show you how to maximize your dollars. So let's look at the kind of things that a real estate investor is interested in. I would think the first thing is let me find people who are non-resident owners of property because they're the ones who would be more likely to sell to me. Now, if I have a specific neighborhood I'd like to use, a neighborhood code, I could. I could say I'm a real estate investor who likes to buy houses that were manufactured after 1980. And you could pick any point in time because maybe you don't want to deal with aluminum wire. You could say, what type of places is it that I'd like to buy? You could specify the land acreage. You could specify a certain market range. Well, let's, for the sake of this discussion, say that you're looking for properties somewhere in the neighborhood of $125,000 to $275,000. And you could further add some limitations as far as the deed date, because as you and I both know, the deed date will give a hint as to the equity. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say, show me just single family homes because I don't want to spend any time with someone who has a mobile home. And as a real estate investor, there's a pretty good chance I don't want to mess with a swimming pool because they cost a lot of money to maintain. So I'm looking for everybody in Collin County who meets that search criteria. And look at that. 13,816 properties meet that. So now what we've got to do is go back and narrow those results down a little bit further. So I'm going to go back down here and let's see what else. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to limit it to people who are in who are in Allen, because that just happens to be an area that I have done lots of investing in before. So now I'm going to go down here, further refine that search, and let's see what we come up with, and we'll figure out if we need to narrow our parameters a little bit more. Okay, well now we're at 512. You have to decide if that's a manageable number or not. If it is, you could simply download those results. They'll go into an Excel spreadsheet and you get 60 pieces of data. Let's just pull up a house to take a peek and see what it is that you get. All right, so you're going to get information on the land value, the improvements. You have GIS information. You have deed date information. 2011, so they have a little bit of equity. You can go down here further, get information on the neighborhood code. You can look at where it's at on a map. You could do some interactive mapping if you want. You can see if the house does it look like what you want. You could even buy a sketch of that home if you wanted to. Let's just buy one and I'll show you what it looks like. We buy a sketch and say, well, is that the kind of property just based on the sketch that's of interest to me? Now we can scroll back up, and maybe what we've got to do is go back and refine a little bit further. So here we are back at those 500 and some odd count properties. Let's go narrow that list down a little bit more. Well, what else can we do? I've got the zip code. I said I don't want people who live in the house. I want it to be out-of-state owners. Let's go and look at some deed date information and say that I don't want anybody whose deed date is older than the year 2000. And that'll probably help narrow it down a little bit because that means they have at a minimum 13 years of equity in that property. So you could set that to whatever number you want. Now we're down to 79, which might not be a big enough pool. Anyways, you get the idea by seeing the different ways that you can search in that account. So now you could download those results. They're going to appear into an Excel spreadsheet where you can do any type of analysis you want. You can let people know approximately what you pay compared to appraised value, that you close fast, and if they have any interest in selling, you'd be happy to talk to them. Once they call you on the phone, you can just pull that property up when they give you their address or they give you their name, And when you pull that property up, whoops, you can see where it's at on the map. You can go ahead and do a sketch just like I showed you. I'm going to go ahead and click that interactive map so we can get just a little bit better view of where that house is located. And it's going out there and rendering a map for us. And now we've got our map. I can zoom out just a little bit so that I get more of a feeling of where my area is at. And now I get to see where I'm at. I get all the information I want on that piece of property. And I can decide if it's something I want to go see. Anyways, I hope that gives you a hint of how it is that you can do some prospecting for properties that meet a certain criteria. Good luck to you.